Let's talk about crate training. A lot of times when folks call us and we're doing our initial evaluation, one of the first things I ask them is the dog crate trained? And we either get pushback there in the sense of, no, I don't want my dog crate trained, or he used to be, but we don't need it anymore. Or they say yes. And oftentimes when people say yes, their dog is crate trained, what they mean is they put the dog in the crate before they leave the house. Using the crate like that is how we install anxiety for the crate in our dogs. And the reason is if we only put the dog in the crate before we leave the house or before we go to bed at night, the crate becomes a cue that we're getting isolated from the pack for a long period of time. And that's where with young dogs or with just dogs in general that have a dependence issue, perhaps with their owner, this is where the objection comes in, the anxiety and all of the barking and the screaming and defecation, urination that we can see with dogs that have anxiety for the crate. One way to get past this is to utilize the crate whether or not we're home. So when I ask, is the dog crate trained? What I'm really asking the client is, do we use the crate whenever we're not able to supervise the dog? Because if we have any issues in the house, we still need to utilize the crate, regardless of what it is. A good rule of thumb that I use anytime I bring a new puppy or new dog, whatever, into my house is if I don't like what the dog is doing, it goes in the crate until it's quiet for a minimum of 5 minutes. So what this does is it teaches the dogs through success or failure, meaning if they're consistently getting isolated and put away in the crate every time they compulsively lick or itch or get into something they shouldn't, or leave my line of sight, if I trip over them when I'm cooking in the kitchen, really anything. If I don't like what the dog is doing, I put it in the crate. More importantly, the dog learns over time what behaviors allow it to stay out and just hang out with the pack. And so now I am teaching the dog how to behave in the house, and I'm not teaching the dog by saying, I want you to do this. So the dog isn't offering any behavior because I told him to. The dog is behaving a certain way because this works, and this is the path of least resistance to getting what it wants, which is just to hang out with us. So with a new puppy, for example, if I don't take the dog out of the crate until it's been quiet and calm for a few minutes, over time this teaches the dog that quiet is how you get to come out. And then if we go straight from the crate to outside and not come in until we either go potty, or if the dog doesn't go to the bathroom, then we'll just bring it in and put it back in the crate and start again in 20 or 30 minutes. This way the ritual is always out of the crate, outside to relieve itself, and then inside. So within a few days of this, we can consistently only go to the bathroom outside. We can very specifically not go to the bathroom inside and start to develop a habit that we call, being house trained. So now we come out of the crate because we've been quiet, we go outside to go potty, and then we come back inside. Now, especially with young dogs, they don't know, no dog inherently knows what is expected unless it's been taught. Even if the dog is too young to learn commands, if we just bring the dog inside and then put it in the crate anytime we don't like what it's doing, and repeat that process over and over and over again, through time, the dog learns, one, where we go to the bathroom, and two, how we are expected to behave in the house. And so for a dog, regardless of age, this is a force-free way of teaching the dog what we expect when we're inside. There's zero conflict between you and the dog, and you're conditioning the dog to be in the crate even when you are home, and teaching it that quiet is the only way that it gets to come out. If we can do this, and this alone, that eliminates most problems that people have when the dog's in the house, whether it's being destructive, whether it's being hyperactive, whether it's jumping on people. If every time it exhibits a certain behavior, it automatically gets put in the crate, then the dog learns through failure what works and what doesn't, to keep it in the home, to keep it with the pack. And so the dog is acting a certain way because it knows that that is how it gets what it wants. It believes it works. If a dog believes something works, that is the behavior they will do regardless of what words we're using.